Hi, welcome to Family Law Friday presented by Florida Women's Law Group. My name is Betsy Corbett and I'm in the marketing department. Family Law Friday is designed to be a resource for all women with a family law issue. Today we will be discussing Bridge the Gap alimony. Before we get started, I wanted to give you some information about our host, Heather Quick. Heather is the founder and owner of Florida Women's Law Group that advocates for women in North Florida. The firm educates and empowers women on the law so that they can find the strength to endure the process and end up better financially and emotionally. She's been a licensed Florida attorney for over 20 years, with most of her practice being in family law. Please join me in welcoming Heather Quick to Family Law Friday.
Thank you so much, Betsy, and thank you all for watching today. I love talking about alimony, and mostly because I think there's just a lot to learn, and it's really important, and it's, for everybody to know, whether you are a woman who maybe took time off from your career during the marriage with the children, whether you never had a career, whether you're the breadwinner. It's important to you, and I really am one of the only people who can talk to you clearly from the perspective of a woman, because we only represent women, and so therefore, when I talk about it, I go back and forth because many women have exposure or are very afraid of what it might look like. And, that may be for a future discussion, obviously, so we can get more in depth and understand your particular facts and how the law would apply, because that is important. Everybody, not every case is different because your lives are different, the facts. It's very rare it's going to be the exact same fact pattern. And there are many nuances that can affect what my advice would be, the opinion would be from the legal side, so that you really have a clear understanding of your exposure to alimony, your ability to receive alimony, and just what it looks like in general. And so that's why I like talking about it, and also because it is very fact specific. I mean, we have many factors in determining alimony, but it's very fact specific. And so you have got to have an attorney who's going to draw those specific facts out of you and really look into how to advocate for you based on the facts of your marriage. And it's very, I don't know, I just love doing it. I love these cases because they're about numbers and facts and how we weave things in together so that you achieve your goals. So today we are going to talk about two different types of alimony. As you know from the last video, I gave a brief overview of everything, and that's want to delve a little bit more deeply into it so that you have a good understanding of where it would apply in your case, or just what it means in general. I mean, we all want to know if you're about to go through divorce, considering divorce, just to understand how does this all come to play. So first we'll talk about Bridge the Gap alimony, because that's relatively new in Florida law, meaning in the past 5 to 10 years, that it was really created in such a way that it was in the statute. And there are some things about Bridge the Gap, and it is really defined. The name is why, okay, Bridge the Gap from married life to single life. There's going to be a transition. So when looking at that, one of the clear things that's for sure on that type of alimony is that it can't be more than 2 years. And how the law reflects now is that if you are not employed but you are able to work, then the court really has to impute some kind of income, even if it's minimum wage. But I think what we find a lot, and really what pans out to be the truth, is if you have been out of the workforce, I mean, really now with technology is moving as fast as it is, even 5 years, it's different. When I think of the technology that's changed just in our business over the past 5 years, a lot has. The law hasn't. So maybe somebody's basic knowledge of the job or what they would have to do might not have. But the technology, that learning curve could be very significant, you know, across the board. And so that is a real issue that someone will have who is entering the workforce who has not been there for a while. So even if the court says, hey, they can work, the other side, you know, makes that argument and it's clear that will be able to work, but there's still going to be a period of time where, hey, it may take you a while to ramp up, may take you a while to even get a job or get enough hours, whatever that is. That's where Bridge the Gap comes in. It's because the need's going to be higher in the beginning, and that's the argument you make. And that's really when we talk about the different kinds of alimony, that's what's important to understand. When I am talking about a subject, I am really talking to you from the perspective of, if down the road we were presenting this evidence to a judge, this is what matters. And it's so important that you understand that is the way your case needs to be prepared, so that you have a basis and arguments which provide leverage, which allow you, if possible, to settle, but also how to prevail in court. If your attorney can't tell you how they're going to get you it, that's because maybe they don't know or they haven't spent the time to know. You really ought to request more of that and understand why. Because if in negotiations, you know, when you're bluffing, people call you on it. And if you don't have the facts to support a particular kind of alimony or alimony in general, you should know that now. Many times I'll tell clients, hey, this one, like, you know, you have your wish list, and that's okay. I'm going to tell you, these are the 5 things that, you know, this is going to happen. There may be some variances, but these other 5 on your wish list, like, that's not happening. Doesn't mean I won't ask for it, but I'm just going to tell you clearly, is very, very unlikely. So it's very important as a client, as a woman going through divorce, you really do understand that this is what the range of where I might want to be. And that maybe some of these things that are on my list, or the money, the dollar amounts, you need an attorney to be really straight with you. You need to understand if that is in the realm of what could happen or not. Doesn't mean you can't get a great settlement. Doesn't mean sometimes, hey, do better than you thought in court. Those are great days. It's better to do better than you thought, and your expectations to have been exceeded rather than to then let down. So that's on the Bridge the Gap a little bit, kind of overall in my theory of alimony, but understanding. And I went into so much detail because many times there is a Bridge the Gap as well as another type order, because the Bridge the Gap is only for 2 years. So maybe you get more money the first 2 years and then it goes down. And then of course that would be supported about the facts with your particular situation. Maybe a child leaves home in 2 years, finishes high school. So there's going to be more of a need. You may not be able to work as much depending on the support, whatever's going on. So those are just important things to know in a Bridge the Gap alimony situation. Next, I want to talk about rehabilitative alimony. In rehabilitative alimony, that was designed to address the need of a spouse whose career was halted or never begun. Maybe you never went to college, you didn't finish college, or you never got licensed in your profession, but you did get to college, whatever, something you're going to have to go back, generally to school, some kind of training, and that's going to take you 2 or 3 years. And so that's what that addresses. Now, that type of alimony, again, is very specific and requires a very detailed plan. It's not, well, I think I want to go to nursing school. That's great. Go to the school, get the schedule, get the table of fees. Let's understand what you have to do to even get in. Do you have the right, what's necessary, then what's required, and the time. Very little work you have to do, but you have to actually have a concrete plan. That's very clear in the law, and it then shows everything that has to happen for you to do it. And that, again, is another very powerful tool for you. because not every person is going to really be eligible or their facts meet the case for a permanent alimony or even a longer durational alimony. But these are things that, as you can see, is fact specific. You're like, well, I went to college and I'm already working in my profession. That may or may not work. Now, you may want to have a career change, you may want to do other things. And I would say to you, talk to your attorney and understand why you wish to do that. Many times, if knowing you're going to be single, it's like, listen, this job I have now, it works while we're together and, you know, in the same house with the kids. But if we're separate, it's really gonna be difficult for me to manage the children when they're with me versus not. So I need to make a career change or, you know, some type of change that may require a schooling, just some classes, whatever. There are so many things that really can fit in there, ideally, or not ideally, like knowing it is a specific plan. And your attorney will help you with that. I mean, for heaven's sakes, if you tell them what you want, you know, you tell me this is what I want to do, we're going to give you very detailed instructions on how to go get the information you need to get. And why do you need it? Because you need to understand, because you're the one who's going to have to testify about it. And you need to say, oh, wow, that's a lot. Maybe I do or don't want to do that. And then we also look at, well, and then where does that set you up? Let's say, for instance, you want to be an esthetician. And that can be a great career and you can make a lot of money. And, you know, you want to go, the school is depending 90 to 120 days. You know, and here's the schedule, here's how I would do it, and this is my connection in the field and the job I get and how this will work out. Or many people go in the medical field. You know, two-year track, but then look at this. I've got a great job. I can work 12-hour shifts. You know, I have a lot more flexibility. Even going into teaching, so many people are like, you know, yes, there is a lower salary, but the added pluses are if your children, you know, are certainly in school age and, you know, where you're going to teach, that can be a huge benefit because then your schedule follows them. So maybe the cost in, you know, caring for them when they're younger is going to just, you're not going to incur that. Tends to be, depending on the school, certainly public school, great health benefits that are at a good cost. So there's, you know, all kind of fields, and it's really a time that I encourage our clients to think about maybe what they want to do, what they want to be. You know, you want to be self-sufficient. You should. There are a lot of, you know, hey, I'm all for permanent alimony. I advocate for that very much so, but I also advocate for women to become independent and to look for ways that they can then be self-sufficient. Use that alimony to help you, you know, be, you know, in control of your life. And likewise, you know, if you're the breadwinner, I want to touch on this because you may just have heard, well, you're going to have to pay alimony because you make so much money. And maybe, but we also have to look at, you know, is your husband work and what his need is. But then maybe one of these fits him, and it's really a shorter period of time would totally get him to where he can meet his needs financially. And then that doesn't require a longer time on you. And so just understanding that it's important knowing what these different types of alimonies are for and how to use them, you know, in the best way for you. You know, what's going to be best for your case, and your facts, the facts of your life and marriage really, you know, how do they wind in and play into that? Because that's a better way to go into the divorce and through the divorce, is understanding the options. There are always many options, and when you have a clear understanding, then when maybe you're at mediation, it makes more sense. And also, you know, preparing for trial, understanding, you know, why your attorney's doing what they're doing and what, again, is on the table, what are the potential, you know, things that can happen as a result of going to a trial. And all of those things are important, help you, you know, have a clear understanding of your particular case. But also, if you think about it, it really should increase your confidence, and it does, because now you understand, because this is your life. Taking an active part in this litigation is vital to your success overall, as well as, you know, your success moving forward with your future. So if you are contemplating divorce or going through it, please reach out. We are here to help you. We are a group of amazing women, an amazing team of intelligent, strong women that are here to help you achieve your goals, and through, all the means that we have available to us. So Betsy will tell you how to reach out to us. And if you also know somebody who's maybe going through this or may not know this, but this information would be helpful, please share the video and give us comments. And we love hearing the feedback on what you also would like to learn about. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather, and thank you to Coco, too. She feels very strongly about alimony as well. But thank you to all that could join us today. If you have any questions about alimony, divorce, family law, please feel free to give us a call at 904-241-0012. We're here to help. Thanks.